Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Empressive channel. The former reality star and model Draya Michele had a few things to say about Mariah Carey dating the younger musician Anderson .Paak. It seems like Draya is not too happy with the fact that people seem to not care about the age difference between Mariah and Anderson. However, people had a lot to say about the age difference between her and her baby daddy, Jalen Green. Got the scoop screenshotted this comment that Draya said, saying, "That's that 17-year age gap smile. Go Mimi with y'all selective A's." So you could kind of sense the shady tone of that post. You know, Draya was dragged mercilessly for actually getting pregnant by a 22-year-old basketball player named Jalen Green. Draya is almost 40 years old, so the age difference is pretty glaring. Not to mention, Jalen is the same age as her oldest son, so that makes things weird. Also, it was put out there that Draya used to be friends with the young girl that Jalen used to date. In fact, they said that she watched this girl grow up. T Snipers put it out there and said, "I can't get over how Draya Michele was all in Bria Hicks' house and watched her grow up to only start dating that young girl ex-boyfriend, Jalen Green. Shake my head, Draya is dead wrong. She should be dating someone her own age, let alone this girl worked for you. You knew her mother and was all under her picks. Dirty work. Now Bria Hicks should date Draya's son." So yeah, there was a lot of controversy around Draya dating Jalen, not just
Okay, so to me, I feel like the reason why I think whether it's an older woman or older man dating someone in their 20s, their early 20s or teens, hopefully not 18 years old, 19 years old, 22 even, and you're 40, it's a little weirdness there. I'm sorry. It just kind of is. Do I care really? No, because y'all are two grown adults. But I feel like you can't really compare that to a fully grown man, 35 years old, and a fully grown woman, and Mariah Carey, she's over 50. I think that, it's just a difference there. But I'm not a hater. I'm like, hey, if y'all vibe, if y'all like each other, then hey, like each other. Yeah, it's a little weird, but it is what it is. But I don't think she needed to come out and like have this whole like it's like you just put your name back out there for no reason. So hey, it is what it is to me. I mean, hey, get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like it's some financial incentive with this because usually a grown woman hopefully would not be wanting to deal with a young man like that because young men tend to be more immature than women just in general if they're the same age. So either he must be really mature or it's some money shit. It's some money shit going on here.
because of the age difference, but because of just the optics. I mean, he used to be the boyfriend of the girl that she watched grow up. Not only that, he is the same age as
And that's kind of wild too. That's a little icky, right?
her son. So yeah, it's weird. And also, people know that she intentionally got pregnant by this man because she needed to secure the bag. And Jalen has a big bag from the NBA. He actually signed a 3-year contract that pays him $106 million. So, yes, Drea got the bag. And I think she just got tired of dating around and looking for a come up. I mean, she was dating a lot of different entertainers, athletes, and rappers. She even was
Uh-oh.
Diddy's girl at
I
one
don't want to
point,
see him.
allegedly.
So
I
yeah,
don't want
like
to see
last time
him.
I seen Draya when we was talking about that shit, she was with Puff, like Draya, like giving him a hand job or something under the cut blanket.
Word?
While we in there, I'm like, bro, I don't want to talk too much. I went back downstairs
Okay.
with Travis Scott.
So, you know, if Dre was messing with Diddy, she was doing some strange things for some change. And, you know, I think she got tired of that whole
Okay. Well,
fast lifestyle and she needed a retirement
Dre was like, shit, I'll do the freak off. Fuck that shit. I'll do the freak off. Sign me up, baby. How much he paying? Oh, yeah, baby. What do you want a hand job? Bitch, I got that and more. I got that and more. Hook him up with me. What's his number? We can negotiate some things. Like, sis.
plan. So she got a young, dumb, rich guy to have a baby with. And it is
Okay, because they say our brains are not developed until we're at least, what, 25? I personally 100% believe that. I don't believe our brains are developed like that until we're at least 25. And still at that point, some people's brains just already been cut off at 18, or some people 16 or younger. So it's just kind of like, what are you doing with him? Hopefully he is, willing to share his riches with her, I guess. Young people are more easy to give out money than older people. Older people are like, look, I'm looking for stability. I want to keep my money. I worked hard for this money. Young people, man, what's going on? Like, young people don't give a fuck. They like, man, I'm rich. I got it. Like, what you need? What you need? Like, hey, I think she saw opportunity and she was like, "Mine."
Is what it is, but her situation is not the same as Mariah's situation. Yes, Mariah is dating a younger man. She dated and married Nick Cannon, who is 9 years younger than her. She also dated her background dancer, Brian Tanaka, who was younger than her. And now she's with Anderson .Paak, who's younger than her. But Anderson is almost 40 years old.
Allegedly, we still don't even know this. Like this, they went out a few times. They could be they could be dating. They could be trying to get in, but we already like pushing it towards a relationship. Like maybe they're just dating right now, okay? Or maybe they really are just working on an album. They do look a little, couple-ish, but let's slow our rolls. Just you sign up, click the link below. That's step one. We're gonna break it down in steps. Click the link, sign up for the bank account. They'll give you a checking and a savings account. Then what you do in the next 14 days after that's done, deposit $50. Once you deposit your $50, you'll get $25 instantly. You can either withdraw that money and just stay at step one and not do any more, not use that bank account. That's your choice. But step two is where the magic happens here. So once you have your bank account, you'll get a link. You'll get a link that you can share around. Share it to family, share it to friends, whoever you feel comfortable sharing it with, or just your social media, share it around. I shared this with a few family members, y'all, and a few friends, and in a couple days, I had $500. And that didn't even take me but maybe 10, 15 minutes to share it around and say, hey, you want a bank account? This bank account with SoFi has a great deal going right now. You know what I'm saying? You could make some money too you know? So I definitely wanted to share this with you guys because I don't know how long this will last. Now it is a little bit limited because you can only make up to $10,000 with this. But who couldn't use an extra $10,000? And I'm also going to be coming to you guys with other money ideas where it's pretty cheap and you can share it around just like this. So make sure you subscribe.
Old, and Mariah is 55. So these are grown people. Also, Mariah is not dating a man who's the same age as her children, and she's not getting pregnant with a man for a check. So yeah, their situations are definitely not the same. But I understand Draya is tired of getting beat down over her relationship with Jalen. I get it. I was even very mean when I talked about it at first, and I kind of regret it too because I was like, dang, I didn't have to be so harsh. But still, Draya can't change the way people view her relationship because the optics don't look good. They just don't. So her trying to raise comparisons to Mariah and Anderson's relationship is just not going to work. Now, moving on, I want to talk a little bit about this because some days ago, the Braxton family's niece, Ashley Braxton, came forth and exposed some details about the family that are pretty disturbing. Now, Ashley Braxton is the daughter of the Braxtons' older brother, Michael Braxton, and she has been speaking up a bit about her childhood. Her childhood was very, very rough. In fact, she did an interview talking about how her mother abandoned her when she was very young and her father remarried, and her stepmother was abusive to her and her sister, Lolo Braxton. Not to mention her father was abusive to her stepmother, and she even said the father was abusive to her and her sister as well. So it was a toxic environment, and Ashley actually ended up leaving the country to find some healing. And unfortunately, her younger sister Lolo passed away from a drug overdose, which was very, very tragic. And Ashley also brought up a story where one of her aunts, her famous aunts, cut her off and stopped talking to her because she thought Ashley was having an inappropriate interaction with her husband. And mind you, Ashley was 16 years old at
Now I heard about this. I saw this video right here that Ashley is doing. Um, a mess. You know, this is why they say don't envy people's lives. Don't envy these people. You never know what type of mess, BS they got going on in the background. And I couldn't even really finish the season of the Braxtons that just came out last year. I got like halfway through it and was like, all right, y'all. Because it just wasn't fun. It was just every episode. I understand y'all lost a sister. My condolences. I loved Tracy too. I've been following watching the Braxton since it came out. But I felt like we needed a different focus. I think we should have just episode one, RIP Tracy. Episode two, let's move on. Let's get to doing something else. Then it was issues with her son and the father. I was like, man, I cannot. I just couldn't make it through the rest of the season. And this whole thing with Ashley, it's just like I said, let's not idolize these people, right? Because these people be having just as many problems as us just because they got a little bit of money, which is debatable as many times as Miss Beautiful Tony Braxton has, filed for bankruptcy. You probably can't even ask her for $25. You'd be like, "Can I borrow $25, Auntie?" She'd be like, I just got out of bankruptcy. I wouldn't want to have Tony Braxton out of Auntie. I want to have somebody who. No, I'm kidding. But no, I would love to have Tony Braxton. Well, not with what we seeing here, really, but you know. Um. So yeah, interesting.
At the time.
Okay, so I want to tell a story today, and that story is about how one of my aunts in my family do not talk to me because they think that I, at the age of 16, did something with her partner at the time. I guess she felt like I did something with her partner at that time. And nothing happened, but I'm gonna try to tell the story quickly and also not name any names. And so I was with this aunt for the summer with my sister, and I can't remember how much time had passed since we were there in the summer for a little bit of time to when we got home. And when I think it was my stepmother was going through my phone and she found this conversation, this sort of conversation. And she showed it to my dad, and my dad called that aunt and we spoke about it and we talked about it a little bit. And I remember it was just a lot of emotions, it was a lot going on. I was 16 at the time and I'm 32 now. I had to think about it. So yeah, my aunt was there for me. She was very kind and very nice and was like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. But then as the years have gone by, it's like that mood and that assumption that I didn't do anything because I was a child was not that assumption anymore. It just felt like love from my family was just cut off and gone. And you're like, but wait, that guy? And it made it even worse because it was like, wait, this guy that was doing this to you on TV? And like, it's kind of in cohorts in the same spirit of what was happening. Not in the same cohorts in the same spirit, but like, you know? So for me, it was difficult because I realized that my aunt was starting to feel this way that I initiated, or that it was like I'm a part of the problem to blame. And I was saying before that I never should have been put in that situation as a kid at all, ever, especially when there's an adult involved. So I'm 16. I'm at my aunt's house, and when I leave, I'm there for the summer. Her partner decides, her husband at the time decides.
Okay, see, I haven't seen this part. I haven't seen this part. Because the first part of the story, I was kind of like, girl, I feel like something's being left out here. But do your thing. It's always good to come out and tell your truth, right? I thought it was Vince at first, but people kept saying it's Gabe. I'm like, okay, Gabe makes sense because he was doing a lot of like texting people, flirting with people, on the show. And I'm like, but for him to flirt with 16-year-old, that's kind of icky. And now I'm thinking back, was this the reason for the divorce? Was this the reason? I don't know. But yeah, this just seems like it's a hot mess. And now he's gone, so we can't even like, if it's Gabe, we can't even be like, poo poo on you. Because that's pedophilish behavior.
To start sexting me. So sexting in
Crazy.
a sexual manner. Okay? There was
Yeah, this is definitely grounds for divorce. Like, I couldn't see anything else. Like, you've been texting my niece, Negro? Sexting my niece? Now, I would like to see the text messages to see, like, okay, were you responding, or is it just a bunch of text messages from him harassing you? Either way, you were a young girl, but I could see if she was like kind of feeding into it a little bit. I could see Trina like being like, okay, I don't want to do with that hoe no more. Right. But let's see what more she got to say.
nothing physical that happened. Absolutely nothing physical. However, when my aunt
However,
when my parents first brought it up to my aunt, she was there for me, very like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And as the years have evolved, that has turned into, it's your fault. It's turned into, you were old enough to know right from wrong, and it's turned into something physical happened and you did it. And for me, that's mind boggling to me, because if there was something that was physical that happened, and I'm 16 years old, this makes this person a right. You know the word, and I can't use it. And so that is mind boggling. It's just something that I don't really understand. A, um, I'm 16 years old. I'm 16. So I think the hardest part for me was trying to navigate as to why is it me? Do you know? Why am I?
I think the thing is, little things like that can really make the energy weird, right? It makes the energy weird. People will sit at home and like they'll plunk that around in their head over and over again, and they'll be like, "But wait, what? What? How did this? Huh?" And then all of a sudden you come up with your own assumptions. You were in on it. You were talking back with him. You know what I'm saying? You were old enough, and I think it just made the energy weird, and to the point where Trina or whoever was just like, I don't want to really mess with her no more. She kind of, it was weird. Yeah, she was underage. And then with him passing too, it's just a lot of trauma and hurt, right? And so I think she didn't even want to be reminded of that situation with Gabe, probably because of the divorce. And then after that, because of him passing, she's like, look, you just, I don't want to be thinking about that. You my niece, I love you, but stay over there because, yeah, I just don't want to even think about it. You know, sometimes we don't talk with her. I know she has famous, family members, but sometimes we don't talk with our family like that. Sometimes we have beef, you know, certain things happen, and sometimes you never talk it out. It'd be 20, 30 years. You still ain't talked it out. It just kind of is what it is with family.
Why am I the scapegoat? Why are you not talking to me? I didn't ask for it. Why? Why do you want me to come to you and say, yes, I had a physical relationship with this person? Like, that makes him do it. I said that I wouldn't get emotional on this, and I don't know. This person has also had a platform to be able to talk and to be able.
But also, let me just say this too: the sisters barely get along with each other, and they're sisters. They're sisters. They barely get along with each other. So, a niece, they probably like, girl, you see what I'm saying? And so I don't think she should be too upset about this. I think she should, just keep on. go on with her life. I think if she wants to talk with her auntie, reach out to your auntie girl and see if she'll talk to you. If she don't want to talk, I'll be like, look, it is what it is at this point. Love y'all, but I got to do what's best for me. I need to, pave my own way in life at this point because y'all ain't talked to me in 15 years. So I think she should keep just going, keep doing TikToks, keep doing what you're doing, girl. And but I don't think they will really. Maybe they'll have her on next season. That'll be a good storyline.
able to voice shows character of who he is, and like we're just breaking bread with the person as if nothing has happened, or like it's just,
Now I want some
I don't
bread.
know.
Oh,
Now, Ashley did confirm who the aunt was. She liked this comment on TikTok that said, "This sounds like Trina and Gabe." She gave context clues. She said the person was on TV operating in the same spirit. Gabe had a sex addiction. And Ashley liked this, so she confirmed it. And it's really unfortunate that this happened, period. But it's unfortunate that it's Trina who was the one who cut her niece off over Gabe, you know? And if you remember watching Braxton Family Values, you know what Gabe put Trina through. He cheated on her constantly, and she was an emotional wreck over it. She was always drinking, she was having meltdowns. It was a mess. And Trina also contributed to the toxicity as well. She lashed out at Gabe, and she even had her own affairs. So their relationship was super up and down, but it didn't change the fact that Gabe continued to cheat on Trina. And I know that he has passed away, but it's still really disturbing and disgusting and predatory of him to initiate a conversation like that with Ashley, especially considering that she was a minor. Ugh. And I'm really sad that Trina handled it the way she did. She blamed Ashley. That's messed up, and she's still not talking to her. I don't believe that Ashley said they ever reconciled. So I'm going to assume that
I ain't gonna lie. Gabe and Trina and Vince and Tamar, their relationships itched my ass. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all? What's happening here? Like, break up with these mofos. Like, what's happening? But I felt like, it was other things going on, and you go through what you go through in relationships, and they're toxic, and it is what it is. But they used to itch my ass, both of them, both relationships.
she still hasn't talked to her. But I hope that changes. I hope that this is addressed between Trina and Ashley, because it's really a sore spot for Ashley. And I think an apology is owed to her as well. Ashley was not protected, plain and simple. She just wasn't protected. She grew up in a toxic household. Her mother left her. She was abandoned when she was young, and she had to grow up with two parents who were abusive, you know. And on top of that, she was preyed upon by her aunt's husband. And even if she engaged in the conversation, she was still 16 years old. She didn't know what she was doing. And this is not to say she didn't have a conscience and she didn't know what was right and what was.
I don't know. I feel like I need to see the text messages, honestly. But like I said, there should be a form of forgiveness. But I don't think Trina is obligated to continue on with the relationship with her niece. Um, After that bullshit, I just don't feel like, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, to for me to further judge it, I would have to really see the text messages. But yeah, he's definitely was a PEDO, sex addict, all of that. And I think that I just don't understand how we got to texting her. Like, how did that happen? Was there some flirty? I mean, I can't. I need to see the text messages. Otherwise, I don't want to hear no more of this story unless we can get to the meat of the subject. And then, girl, you were texting him, and then your parents looked through your phone, so you didn't even come out and say, "Hey, look what Gabe, look what Gabe sent me. Somebody help! Look what Gabe sent me." That's not what you did. You let that fester in your phone for however long. Your parents saw it. Your parents had to go and tell Trina. So it's But at the end of the day, she did say she was abused growing up. So when you go through abuse, sometimes you're not in your right mind. Sometimes you are in more of a low vibration to where you are a little bit susceptible to things like that. But like I said, in my opinion, this whole situation is what it is. I don't think Trina's obligated. I think she should, heal and cry it out and talk it out and move on. And that be that. If they can get to a point where they can have a conversation, great. But as it stands right now, I don't, I'm just like, it is what it is.
Was wrong. I'm pretty sure she knew it wasn't right and she had to be uncomfortable with it. However, she was still too young to fully grasp how inappropriate it was. Gabe, however, knew. He knew good and well he shouldn't have been talking to that little girl, which is why
Mm-mm-mm.
it's really unfair that Trina would blame her own niece. She would throw away her own niece over Gabe, who was a predator. That's crazy. It's really twisted. And unfortunately, this happens in some families. It does. There are some women who will believe and protect the predator over the actual victims and their families. And it's all because they just want to keep their man. They just want to keep their marriage together. They don't want to feel like they're in competition with somebody else.
Like I said, I'm not going to say that because I don't know what those text messages said and what she was sending back. I don't know that. So I'm not going to put that on Trina and say, "Oh, Trina, you need to, you believe in you believe in the pedophile over your niece." I'm not gonna say that because, like I said, I don't know what those text messages look like. So she probably like screw both of them. You know what I'm saying? I totally get where Ashley's coming from, though. She's just coming from hurt because she feels like that's unfair. Like whatever happened, I was underage, and you shouldn't be putting anything on me when I was underage as an adult. But as we know, things aren't as cut as dry. Sometimes people do, you know, hold a grudge against something you did when you were a teenager. Sometimes people do hold that grudge for years. Sometimes people, listen, people be holding grudges.
Even if it's a 16-year-old girl. It's really sad. So it's not surprising to hear that something like this happened in the Braxton family because of just how toxic their family dynamic has been. And I'm kind of veering off the subject a little bit, but I do have to say this. The Braxton family is full of secrets and trauma, okay? They have been taught to suppress their trauma over the years. Instead of getting to the root of their problems, they fuss and they fight and they hold grudges for years and years and years. And they learned this behavior from their mother, Evelyn. She held a grudge against their father for years over his affair, and her bitterness kind of trickled down on her children, and they learned that behavior from her. So the way Trina kind of held this grudge against her niece doesn't surprise me because she was conditioned to behave this way. These are the toxic communication patterns that the Braxtons have had in their family for years. I don't want to really get down and unpack all the trauma that happened in the Braxton family because there is a lot and there is still a lot that we don't know. But Ashley is speaking up about what happened to her. She's tired of being silenced and she wants to speak up and she wants to help heal others with her story. And like I said, I do hope some reconciliation is able to happen. If Ashley is open to it and if Trina is mature enough, I hope they reconcile because there's really no point in holding grudges because it wasn't Ashley's fault. It just wasn't. But anyway, tell me what y'all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe and
Yeah, I just think it's overall a mess. I think that the Braxtons can be a bit of a mess, but I think they're going through like, um, who is the guy? Joe Jackson syndrome. When you train that hard as a kid, if you look back on some of the performances as a kid and when they were kids, they were really training hard. Like they were singing, dancing, like they had the steps. Like it wasn't just no, like they were really training, like Joe Jackson's kids, right? And so it may not have been everybody's um destiny to end up as a singer, but that's the path they kept going. And leaving Tracy out to Tamar leaving the group, and it was just a lot going on. But they all four of them, well, outside of Tony, it might have just been Tony's destiny. The record label didn't want the other ones, and Tamar had to pretty much force her way into, you know what I'm saying? She got with the right person. Let's keep it at that. But, but she had to do what she had to do. But it's just like it just wasn't for everybody. Trina, maybe you were supposed to just go ahead and do bar chicks. Y'all are just supposed to do what y'all was supposed to do outside of singing. You know what I'm saying? But, I just wish them all the best. I'm gonna try to finish the Braxton season maybe one day, but I just couldn't finish it. And yeah, y'all, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We got more videos coming. I'm back, baby. And I just need to take a moment to kind of revamp some things, okay? I needed to because my internet service, my this, the other, it was a little skimpy and stuff, so I'm hoping it'll be better this time. I had to upgrade my technology a little bit. And even if it's not, I'm gonna keep on posting, baby. So subscribe, and here we go. All right, have a good one, y'all. Peace.